What's up, crypto fam? Welcome back to the Crypto Breakdown Whiteboard mini-series. In today's video, I'm going to teach you guys everything about the Near blockchain. In part 1, I'm going to teach you all about the Near blockchain, TPS, Sharding, Nightshade, Validators, and we're going to talk about why everybody is saying that the Near blockchain is the most centralized and VC-backed layer 1 blockchain in the industry. In part 2, I'm going to blow your mind when I show you an animation of what Sharding actually is, how Sharding works, what is Nightshade, and how Near claims that their blockchain will be able to process 100,000 TPS. In part 3, we're going to do a deep dive into TPS so that you can actually understand what TPS is and why I say that TPS is just a term used by blockchains to sound sexy, but in the real world, blockchain TPS isn't what you think. Then in part 4, we're going to do a deep dive into Near tokenomics, we're going to make some price predictions, and we're going to figure out how many coins of Near you need to own to become a millionaire by 2025. And PS, I know this video is going to be long, but I promise if you stick with me, you're going to learn so much about the Near blockchain and blockchains in general. And I also broke everything up into sections, which are all timestamped below, so feel free to skip ahead at any time. This video is for entertainment only. Nothing in this video is fact. Do your own research. This video is not financial advice. Now, before we start this deep dive, who wants to win $500 worth of Near? Drop a comment below and let me know what your favorite layer 1 blockchain is and why. Then take a guess and let me know where you think the price of Near will be at on April 1st of 2024, right before the next bull run starts. Whoever guesses it right closest to the penny is going to win $500 worth of Near. All guesses must be in by January 1st of 2024, and you have to answer both questions. So let's kick things off and start with who created the Near blockchain. Near protocol was founded by Eric Trotman. Eric is an entrepreneur with experience on Wall Street, and he also founded Viking Education. After teaching himself how to code through online courses and attending App Academy in San Francisco, Eric created the Odin Project, an online open source educational program that teaches aspiring web developers to code and become job ready. From 2003 to 2007, Eric attended the University of Pennsylvania, where he graduated with his BSE in mechanical engineering and applied mechanics. Eric also has a minor in mathematics, and while attending the UOP, Eric won the Francis Tatnall Prize for the most outstanding senior design project called Robotic Lightning. And next up, we have the second co-founder of Near, Ilya Polosukin. I apologize if I murdered that name. Ilya has more than 10 years of industrial experience, including 3 years at Google, where he was a major TensorFlow contributor and manager of the team building question answering capabilities for the core Google search, as well as author of several notable research papers. From 2008 to 2014, Ilya was a software engineer at Stanford Systems, where he focused on the development of new tools for big data prediction analysis, text mining, geomining, as well as perfecting existing Salesforce predictive miner toolkits. From 2007 to 2013, Ilya attended the National Technical University, where he graduated with his master's degree in applied math and computer science. The Near protocol has an extensive team of experienced developers that include several international Collegiate Programming Contest gold medalists and winners. The team claims to have the only people with experience when it comes to building the first real-world sharded system at scale. In December of 2021, Near announced that it had selected a global executive, Marquis Flamant, as the new CEO. Effective January 1st of 2022. Marquis brings a wealth of international business experience to the role, as well as an in-depth knowledge about the world of crypto and fintech. Born in France, Marquis trained as a computer engineer and has worked across the globe in a diverse range of companies, from the luxury giant LVMH of Louis Vuitton fame to Boston Consulting Group, Expedia's Hotels.com, crypto giant Circle, and more recently, Myrtle by NotWest. So let's just say that the Near team has a stacked lineup, and the announcement of the new CEO role couldn't come at more of an exciting time for the Near ecosystem. In October of 2021, the Near ecosystem announced a $800 million funding incentive targeted at accelerating growth. The announcement, which includes $350 million in funding, was announced by Proximity Labs. This is designed to build on top of the momentum that the Near ecosystem has already had over the last 12 months. In addition, Near recently closed partnerships with Opera, and to top it off, the Wharton Business School started working with the crypto payment provider MoonPay to make Near accessible in 150 countries worldwide. And they continue collaborating with Near Inc. to launch Simple Nightshade, the first step towards a fully sharded blockchain. If you get a chance, search Near whiteboard videos on YouTube. When it comes to talent, the Near team is the real deal, and they have some of the smartest cryptographers in the world working on this project. So what is Near? Near is a layer 1 blockchain network. It provides a platform on which developers can build decentralized applications, also known as dApps. The most successful layer 1 blockchain used to be Ethereum. And funny story, rumor has it that the Near team actually suggested this sharding idea to the Ethereum team, but Vitalik said that it would never work. It would be pretty funny if that rumor was true, and Near turned out to be the first proof-of-stake layer 1 blockchain to flip Ethereum. The key yardsticks for layer 1 networks are transaction cost, speeds, decentralization, and the ability to maintain those features as transaction volume grows. These factors are the focus for layer 1 blockchains like Near to improve on Ethereum, which has encountered issues with cost, speeds, and definitely now that they switched to proof of stake, decentralization. Ethereum, which has encountered some major issues over the last couple of months, making that transition from proof of work, which the SEC previously claimed that their blockchain was decentralized, it was a commodity, and it was not controlled by any one core group of people. Ethereum switched to proof of stake, and now the SEC claims that because validators are operating in the United States, that the SEC has jurisdiction and controls the Ethereum blockchain. That is one of the major differences between proof of work and proof of stake, and why it's very dangerous for proof of stake blockchains that tend to be getting more and more centralized. Near protocol is faster and cheaper than Ethereum. More importantly, it promises to be faster than some of the other largest challengers. When fully implemented, Near is expected to be able to process around 100,000 transactions per second. Ethereum's largest rival, Solana, averages less than 3,000 transactions per second according to its own block explorer. Ethereum averages double-digit transactions per second, Bitcoin does less than 10. Outside of the crypto sphere, an important comparison is Visa's capabilities. The global payment giant processes around 7,000 to 8,000 TPS based on its claims of 232.5 billion transactions over a 12-month period. But in reality, Visa actually claims that they can do up to 35,000 TPS. Near protocol could definitely ellipse that, though it has not realized its theoretical potential as of July 2022, according to this article that I'm reading by CoinDesk. Near has built technology to enable transactions that are as fast as -1 second, quick to finality 1 to 2 seconds, and cheap less than a penny, and secure according to crypto research firm MESSARI that noted it in an article in March of 2022. How does the Near protocol achieve those numbers? Near protocol's defining feature is a technique called sharding. Designed to improve transaction speeds and capabilities, it involves breaking the blockchain up into subchains with different validators working on them, which regularly get connected to one another effectively. The network dodges the problem of becoming too big by cutting itself up into smaller parts. Near protocol is starting to implement a new version of sharding, which will turn into what is described as a fully sharded network. The innovation is state sharding, as opposed to simply processing sharding. Instead of simply dividing up the responsibilities of the validators, it actually divides up the blockchain itself into smaller parts. Near calls this technology Nightshade and has begun introducing it into phases in late 2021 as the transaction volume of the network increases. Near protocol is by no means the first network to use sharding. It has been talked about as a possible fix for Ethereum since 2013, and Ethereum's competitor Zilliqa put one version into practice back in 2018. But a fully sharded chain would be freaking groundbreaking. And this is why the Near protocol claims to offer infinite scalability, which means that the volume of transactions happening on the network can grow indefinitely without hurting its performance. Near uses a proof-of-stake POS consensus mechanism. In proof-of-stake, bad actors are deterred from corrupting the system by a requirement to stake a certain volume of tokens to validate blocks. Near currently sets the number of nodes at 100, and they require a minimum threshold of 67,000 Near tokens in order to participate in validating a new block of legitimate transactions and getting rewarded with more tokens. Currently, the smallest validator on the Near network has 162,000 coins of Near tokens staked. This is just one of many reasons why Bitcoin maxis claim that the only thing decentralized about a proof-of-stake blockchain is the word itself. So don't leave early because we're going to dive deep down that rabbit hole after this. Now let's talk about these validators. Validators are just like miners, except for the fact that they spend next to nothing on electricity and they pretty much never need to upgrade their equipment. And to top it off, to run a validator, investors are forced to buy coins of Near. Unlike proof-of-work blockchains like Kadena, where investors can buy mining equipment with fiat and earn their share of the network rewards by putting what we call skin in the game. If you want to learn more about proof-of-work blockchains and decentralized applications, check out my Kadena whiteboard mini-series. This is the only blockchain that has actually solved the blockchain trilemma. In proof-of-stake blockchains, validators are the ones who are making all of the network rewards. They verify new transactions and they add them to the blockchain. In exchange, they receive a cut of the fees and the newly created NEAR tokens, aka the inflation rate that depreciates the value of your token. This is why VCs love proof-of-stake blockchains. Let me explain NEAR tokenomics and emissions, then we'll circle back to this topic. According to ICO Drops, NEAR Protocol completed its ICO on August 25th of 2022 after raising $33,360,000. A total of 1 billion NEAR tokens were sold to investors, and as of today, investors have made 8.9x return on that investment. According to NEAR Protocol's website, 17.2% of coins are reserved for the community grants and programs, 11.4% for operational growth, 10% for the foundation endowment, 11.7% for early ecosystem, 14% for the team and core contributors, 17.6% for backers, which I assume are big VCs, 6.1% for small backers, which I assume are small VCs, and 12% for the public sale. If my math on this is correct, that would mean that around 85% of coins were given to team members or sold to VCs. If you notice, I did not say any percentage for ecosystem rewards, and that is because NEAR has no max supply. That means that just like the United States Federal Reserve, the NEAR blockchain is going to continue to print more tokens with no end in sight. That might sound like a bad thing, but I want to break down both sides of the argument for you. If we swing over to NEAR's website, we can see that as of today, the NEAR blockchain only has 100 validators. These main 100 validators are the only ones that are actually able to earn block rewards. Now, NEAR also has chunk producers, but chunk producers don't decentralize the network if the main validators are still controlled by the behemoth whales and VCs. In order to run a validator, you either need permission from their team or you need to have more NEAR staked than the validator with the lowest amount of NEAR staked. NEAR currently sets the number of validators at 100, and they have a requiring threshold of 67,000 NEAR tokens in order to participate in the validations of new legitimate transactions and get rewarded with new tokens. Currently, the node with the lowest amount of NEAR staked is 162,000 tokens of NEAR. Sharding is a database partitioning technique used by blockchain companies with the purpose of scalability, enabling them to process more transactions per second. Sharding splits a blockchain's company entire network into smaller partitions known as shards. Each shard is comprised of its own data, making it distinctive and independent when compared to other shards. Sharding can help reduce latency since it splits a blockchain network into separate shards. However, there are some security concerns around sharding in which shards can be attacked. Security concerns around sharding include hacks or shard takeovers where one shard attacks another, resulting in a loss of information. In order to shard a blockchain, validators are mission critical. The smallest error could result in catastrophic failure, which normally leads to the centralization of validators. If we already have a centralized system that can store, process, and transfer data across the world, what's so special about sharding a blockchain if the end result is one centralized company has control of all the power and the validators? When NEAR implements sharding, they will be forced to scale up in shards. This will change the entire dynamic of the network. Every time more shards turn on, there is a higher probability that the network will introduce attack vectors. The more the network scales, the more centralized it becomes. Allowing retail investors to become chunk validators and earn rewards does not make your blockchain more decentralized. It's more so makes the blockchain look like an MLM, where you have those 100 real validators on the top of the pyramid making all of the block rewards, and then below the top dog you have chunk producers who are doing all the work, but they are only making a fraction of the rewards. So we have three more really important topics: sharding, mempools, and TPS, and they are all super important. I know this video is hard to sit through all the way, but please keep watching so next bull run, you don't watch your portfolio go 95% off. So let's start with mempools so you can understand why blockchains like NEAR are trying to implement sharding. So like we stated above, when you send crypto transactions, you have the ability to set your own gas fees. If your transaction is super important, you might be willing to pay extra to make sure that your transaction is guaranteed to be inside the next block that gets mined. If you take a look in the top left corner of the screen, you can see a -9 sats in this box. This shows you the average price that people had to pay to process their Bitcoin transactions in that specific block. So every solo miner and every mining farm connects to the Bitcoin blockchain, or any other blockchain for that matter, using what are called nodes. Nodes store a copy of the blockchain. Each node that is connected to the Bitcoin blockchain has a memory storage limit of 300 megabits. So what that means is each node has its own mempool that can hold up to 300 megabytes worth of transactions. For example, when you open your crypto wallet and you go to send somebody Bitcoin, as soon as you sign that transaction and click send, that Bitcoin generates a transaction. That transaction is then sent to a Bitcoin mempool. Each node has a mempool that looks like this. It's just a giant pool filled with transactions, and this is where miners will grab the transaction. So what starts to happen, or what are warning signs that a mempool is getting full? Is it A, miners start having trouble finding transactions? Is it B, the blockchain starts crashing or forking itself? Or is it C, gas prices go up? Let's hope you all guess C, gas prices go up. So if we take a look at this mempool and we look at each transaction, to the right of the transaction, you can see a fee. This is how miners choose the transactions with the highest fee. So let's run through a transaction together. On the left, we have a crypto wallet that has 1 Bitcoin in it. On the right, we have my Bitcoin wallet. If you want to send me 1 Bitcoin, the algorithm is going to generate a transaction to verify that you are the owner of that wallet. It then takes that transaction and it sends it to a mempool. So on the Bitcoin blockchain, each block can hold 1 megabit worth of data. The blockchain only produces a block every 10 minutes. So what happens when a block is full? A miner can't fit any more transactions into that block. Then transactions start stacking up in what's called the mempool. So as soon as the next block opens, miners rush over to the mempool. They go to grab the transactions from the mempool that have the highest fee. If we only chose to pay 1 Satoshi to move this Bitcoin, our Bitcoin might not even be in this mempool. And this is exactly why gas fees skyrocket. We saw Avalanche gas fees spike to $10. A user on Ethereum once paid $70,000 in gas fees just to move Ethereum. Anytime the market gets bullish, the average cost of a Bitcoin transaction is around $7.50. You see, on a single chain blockchain, they only have so much room in each block. If you make your block size bigger, then after a few years, the blockchain would get so big, you would need a supercomputer to run the node, because the nodes have to download and store the entire Bitcoin blockchain. So Near uses what is called sharding. When the Near blockchain mints a block, the block doesn't actually hold any transactions. It holds what are called chunks. You can think of chunks like a block in a normal blockchain. So picture a normal blockchain that runs up and down like this. Then picture multiple blockchains that run sideways like this. These sideways blockchains are what are called shards. Each shard produces what's called a chunk, and inside each chunk is a list of transactions, just like a normal blockchain. Near claims that their blockchain can run up to 1,000 shards. They claim each shard can process up to 100 TPS. So if every shard was running and they had 1,000 shards running, that would mean that there would be 1,000 different chunks. And each one of those chunks can hold so much data, and each one of those chunks gets stored into the block on the blockchain like this. That would mean that the Near blockchain could process up to 100,000 TPS. If they could actually do it is the question. Having a blockchain that has 1 or 2 shards or 5 or 10 shards running is one thing. Having a blockchain that has all 1,000 shards running is a completely different story. And the crazy part about that is, if you end up hitting a point where you need another 50 or 100 shards and you go to scale the blockchain up another 100 shards, that could create a catastrophic disaster for every application that's built on that blockchain. Now, here is where it's going to get pretty crazy. Each shard has its own set of validators. So think of each shard as its own independent chain. The problem with sharding the blockchain is the fact that they need to be able to send tokens from one shard to another because there might be a different application or a user on a different shard. They call this problem cross-shard communication. And Near is one of the first blockchains that actually found out a legit solution to this problem, or so we think. So what Near did is they decided that you don't need to finalize a transaction in that specific block. So if Alice wanted to send something to Bob, and Alice is on shard 1 and Bob is on shard 2, what Alice would do is Alice would go to send the transaction in one block. When that block finalizes, it would actually create a receipt saying that, hey, we're sending this coin from this transaction from this shard to this shard, and then they would send what's called a receipt. So once that receipt is received, then those coins would actually be finalized on the second block. Now, it's so much more complicated than this, but that's just the general idea. Now, here is the problem. In order to make that possible, the Near team had to create some pretty wild solutions to make sure that somebody couldn't cheat the system. The first thing that they had to do was randomize the validator assignments, and they had to create what's called the fisherman to the rescue theory. So, long story short, Near had to figure out a way to shard a blockchain. They also figured out, in theory, a way to get cross-shard communication to work, which we have never really saw any layer 1 blockchain actually get this to work and scale. So it's pretty freaking badass if you ask me. So do me a favor, listen to this video linked down in the description for about 5 minutes and listen to these guys explain sharding. It's legit the most complicated thing I've ever heard. But when blockchains like Near say 100,000 TPS, or blockchains like Solana or Polygon say 65,000 TPS, what they mean is if every single transaction was 0.0000001 KB in size, the absolute smallest size ever, which less than 0.00001% of transactions on a blockchain are actually that size, then yes, they could do a bazillion TPS. So it's not about the speed as far as transactions per second. It's about how much data can you fit into a block and how often can you put those blocks on a chain. It's not about the amount of transactions per second that you can put onto a blockchain, but the amount of data that you can put onto a blockchain per second. It should be DPS, not TPS, data per second. Now let's dive even deeper down that rabbit hole. If we swing over to MESSARI and we take a look at the chart on the screen, we can see exactly how much money these validators are going to make, and it's going to blow your mind. So according to this chart by MESSARI, staking rewards started on October 13th of 2020, and as of today, 101,248,891 coins of Near have been paid out to validators. That's pretty crazy, right? As of today, the price of Near is at $3.50, which means that Near validators have been paid $354,371,118. I mean, pretty crazy to think that 100% of those validators could be controlled and operated by the team. Why would a blockchain be raising $800 million in capital if the blockchain just made $354 million in the last 12 months? Not only did the team give themselves 17.2% of the coins that they pre-mined, but they are also making insane amounts of money running these validators. If you need 167,000 coins of Near to run a validator, and the price of Near is $3.50, that would mean that the average retail investor would need to stake $567,000 worth of Near coins to run a validator. And this is another reason why Bitcoin maxis give proof of stake blockchain such a hard time when they try to convince retail investors that their blockchain is decentralized. Now, if we swing back over to MESSARI, we can see that over the next 5 years, validators will be paid 404,330,731 coins of Near. That means if Near runs back up to its all-time high at $20.40, Near validators are going to make $8,256,433,537. I mean, right now the Near market cap is only $2.5 billion. If Near flipped Ethereum and became the #1 layer 1 blockchain, and it hit the same market cap as Ethereum has today, not even its all-time high today, the VCs and team members running those validators would make around $82,880,779,855. I mean, is this not freaking brilliant? The Near team designed the perfect blockchain. The way that these validators are set up, the VCs and team members will be getting rewarded with so much Near that they can always sell their newly minted Near coins, dump them on retail investors without ever needing to sell their initial investment. How sweet is that, man? I wish I was a validator on the Near network. I mean, it's pretty brilliant. The amount of money that the Near team will be able to spend on marketing is ungodly, which means I would definitely be expecting some big moves on Near during the next bull run. Now, what's even more crazy is the fact that in proof of stake blockchains, the amount of coins that you own dictates your voting power in the network. So when the VCs or the team members are making 75 to 95% of the network rewards, and the team and VCs bought 88% of the original pre-mined supply or control 88% of the original pre-mined supply, it's kind of hard to think that anybody would consider this a decentralized blockchain. Near also refers to itself as a permissionless blockchain, but if 99.9999999% of retail investors are priced out of running validators, or if you actually need Near's permission to run a validator, then it's kind of a far stretch to use the word permissionless. But drop some comments below and let me know what you guys think. Now let's swing back over to Crypto Carp and check out Near's rich list. According to Crypto Carp, we can see that the top 10 Near wallet addresses hold 65% of the coins out in circulation. The top 20 addresses hold 75% of coins out in circulation. The top 50 addresses hold 79.51%, and the top 100 addresses hold 82.61% of coins out in circulation. Pretty crazy, right? The VCs and team members of the Near blockchain might become the first crypto trillionaires. This project is by far the biggest VC project that I've ever saw. But that's what I'm looking for when I want to make investments, because these are the guys that are going to be paying the market. And last bull run, I just bet on the VCs and I crushed it. As of today, the Near blockchain has released 787,199,935 coins of Near out into circulation. The current price point of Near is $3.53. If we take the circulating supply and we times that by the price, that gives a market cap of $2,775,873. Now, if we swing back over to MESSARI, we can see that by January 1st of 2026, the Near blockchain will have released 1,291,020,643 coins of Near out into circulation. And FYI, CoinMarketCap is showing that Near has a max supply of 1 billion, which is very inaccurate and misleading for retail investors. If the 2024 bull run lasts the same length that the 2020 bull run lasts, we can then expect that January 1st of 2026 should be the exact date that the 2024 bull run ends. So if we are talking about making long-term price predictions for Near, then we definitely need to recalculate in that inflation rate. So if we do the math in reverse and we take the market cap of 2.75 billion and we divide that by the circulating supply in 2026, we can see that if the Near blockchain released all those coins out into circulation today, the price of Near would be $2.14, not $3.53. So between now and 2026, Near has an inflation rate of roughly 40%. And again, please note, everything in this video is speculative, nothing that I state is a fact, and I have left links down in the description for all of the sources where I found this information, and the sources are credited accordingly. This is not investing advice and I'm not a financial advisor. So if we plan to take profits at the end of the bull run, let's break down Near Tokenomics and see what the price of Near might be by 2026 with a 40% inflation rate. And PS, I always round up to keep things simple. If you invested in Near today and we assume that the price of Near is at $2.15, the market cap is 2.75 billion. For you to 2x on that investment and for the price of Near to hit $4.30, the market cap would need to be 5.5 billion. For you to 10x on that investment and for the price of Near to hit $21.50, the market cap would need to be 27.5 billion. For you to 20x on that investment and for the price of Near to hit $43, the market cap would need to be $55 billion. And for you to 100x on a Near investment and for the price of Near to hit $215, the market cap would need to be $275 billion. If Near does a 10x and hits $21.56, 46,511 coins of Near would be worth $1 million. If Near does a 20x and hits $43, 23,255 coins of Near would be worth $1 million. If Near does a 100x and hits $215, 4,651 coins of Near would be worth $1 million. So based on how much money these VCs and team members stand to make from running validators and the rumors about the massive amount of VCs that are actually backing this protocol, I would assume that next bull run, these same VCs will be spending tens of millions of dollars to market this project. These VCs have deep pockets and connections with all of the mainstream crypto media outlets, as well as connections with the mainstream media. Then to top it off with the fact that 99% of retail investors will believe that the Near blockchain is decentralized and permissionless, will also lead to massive FOMO. And at the end of the day, 99% of retail investors only care about making money, which leads me to believe that the Near blockchain market cap will break $100 billion next bull run. So what's my overall review of Near, and what are my best price predictions for Near protocol? I think that at some point in the next bull run, Near will peak around $96.37, which would be a 27.3x from current price point. I think from a technology standpoint, Near is seriously on another level compared to other blockchains like Ethereum and Solana. And last but not least, I think that the Near team has all the talent and resources that they need to achieve greatness. So if you guys want a shot at winning $500, drop a comment below and let me know where you think the price of Near protocol will be at on April 1st of 2024. And let me know what your favorite layer 1 blockchain is and why. Don't forget, you got to answer both questions. And if you're new to crypto and you don't understand what drives up the price of crypto assets, check out my layer 1 blockchain supply and demand video, and then check out my Kadena whiteboard mini series. This one blockchain is going to change every aspect of life as you know it. Good vibes always, crypto fam. I'll catch you guys in the next video.